Hello friends. I'm excited again today to come and share with you something that is very dear to me, and I hope that you're going to pick something from it, because it's something that I used and it really helped me to be able to step up, to be able to just accept myself, accept what had happened to me, and accept that it was still my responsibility to shine, to flourish. And because no one is meant to stay down, we are all going to fall at one point or another, but it is your it's going to be your responsibility to bring yourself back up. It's going to be your even your own doing to stay down. So I want to talk about owning up, being able to own up what it is that you did wrong. Many times when we are going through a hard time, and many times when it is someone who has done something to us, we tend to stay in the blame position. We tend to stay blaming others instead of owning up, instead of even looking at what did I do to contribute to this mistake? What was my responsibility in all this pain that I'm feeling? So I want to encourage you to be able to put that thing that makes you or stops you from looking at yourself as a human being, as that person who can also make mistakes, because we are all different after all. Everyone is different. If you look at the person who has offended you as the wrongdoer, then you will not be able to learn. It was a hard time for me. I went through a very hard time. All of you, or most of you, know my story. And if you don't know, you can still look at my story in my page. You can subscribe. You can go to my page, Angelica Chivas, or Angela Nzilani, and look at my story, and you will be inspired by the journey I have been able to achieve, or whatever it is that I've been able to achieve so far. And I'm not done yet. The Lord, or my God, is not done with me yet. I'm still going up. I'm still going very far. So I had to let go of the mistakes I did. I had to own them up, to even get to understand what are these things that I did. Because many times we do not even sit back and look at ourselves. We want to point fingers. We want to stay victim, and because that makes us feel even more comfortable. It makes us feel like we are special, like we are different. We are not like the wrongdoer. But if you do that, you still continue staying a victim. And when you're a victim, you do not have freedom. So it's a choice for you. You need to choose to whether to continue staying in the pain or in the suffering, or to get out of the suffering, because suffering is a choice. It is a choice. Maybe we can talk about that on another session. So I wanted to talk about why is it that we feel so hard, or we find it so hard to own up. And my number one point, I'm going to give you 3 points. My number one point is ego. We are all born and created with ego. We want to feel special. We want to feel like we are different. We want to feel like like we cannot do the things that these other people have done. So we always want to hold on to the ego, not knowing that ego is just going to put us down. And I would want to encourage you to look at yourself and see, is it ego that is leading me, is guiding me, or am I being guided by self-awareness or something bigger than yourself? So put your ego down, own your mistakes, and move on, learn from them. So my second point is we all have mental blind spots. And these mental blind spots are things that confuse our thinking. We want to stay, we want to think this way, or we want to do this way, but the mind is not allowing us to do it. So we tend to get stuck. We want to do something, but we tend to get stuck into that confusion of not being sure that this is what you really want to do, not being sure that this is correct. So we stay we stay stuck. So that point where you're stuck is a point where you're supposed to realize that at the end of the day you need to make that decision. You need to make a decision and just move on, move forward, accept and go on. Accept that you've done this and that. Accept, because if you do not accept, then you're not helping yourself. You're not doing yourself a favor. You have to accept that this is what I have done, and now be at peace with it. Because when you're not at peace with it, then you will never even make a decision to either own it or to continue with your ego. So whether you decide or not, I want you to be aware that that is still a decision. So you can decide to either do something about it or you stay stuck. My number 3 point is that we always have mental stress. That is why we do not want to own up. We don't want to let go. We don't want to look at ourselves and admit that we are wrong. To look at ourselves and admit that there's something that is not right with us. So we stay in that stress. We stay, clogged up by other things that are going on in our minds, and the pain that has happened to us sometimes also because of the stress that it puts in us. The pain and the suffering, all that will make us not be able to look at ourselves positively, not to look at ourselves as human beings, not to look at ourselves as as being responsible for being able to being responsible for being able to own up. So you just need to look at yourself like a human being. And again, that we judge ourselves too much, and we forget that everyone is human and everyone has made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, no matter what. There's no human being who is clean, or who is very special not to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We are all at fault at some point, one point or the other. So it's good to know that making mistakes makes me human. I am human. That's why I make mistakes, and I do not know everything. Even up to now, I know that Maya Angelou said the most important thing you can ever learn as a person is to learn that you have a lot to learn. So just know that making mistakes is a platform for you to learn. These are ladders for you to keep learning, to keep moving forward, and you must be able to learn from your mistakes. When you do not learn, you do not grow. So you have to start embracing your mistakes, because they're the ones that are going to help you. Looking at other people's mistakes sometimes doesn't really work. Many times we have to be beaten ourselves. We have to beat ourselves up to be able to learn. So it's good to be able to own your mistakes, to learn that they are just there to help you climb the ladder. They are there to help you continue with your journey. Now, I wanted to also point the importance of owning up, because for me, it really stands out. And I'm going to give you points that have really worked for me, things that I have achieved by owning up. So what is the importance of owning up? Why do you have to own your mistakes? Why is it important to, just accept that you're wrong at one point or the other? And my number 1 point is you become a better person. You become a better decision maker. You'd make better decisions, because if you made this decision before and it didn't work, now you know how to even make it better. So you become a better decision maker. I have made decisions that have failed me, but as I keep on growing and as I keep on forgiving myself, I keep on learning. So I would want to encourage you to also do the same. Number 2 is that we keep little mistakes or little problems. We keep them small. We do not give them chance to escalate and grow bigger. So when you own your mistakes, you start working on them, so they do not continue growing. Whatever it is that you focus on, and many times when we focus on the pain, it keeps on growing instead of looking at it and working on it. So when you look at your mistakes and you embrace them and you learn from them, then this mistake doesn't keep you suffering. This pain or whatever it is that someone did to you, you look at what contribution did I put in? What was my responsibility in all this? And when you get the responsibility, then you're able to keep on working on your mistake or keep learning, and then of course it's going to whatever problem that you are going through is going to start growing small. And then my number 3 point is that we learn. Owning your mistakes helps you to learn. The mistakes that I did that made me go into my mess, I can't do them again. I can't put my children into the place that I had put them before. I can't put myself either into the place that I had put myself before. I've learned to choose myself first. I have learned, because there are times I do I have programs like Mondays. Every Monday I have Facebook live programs, and I teach people on so many different topics. I talk about many different topics, but there are times that I feel that I don't want to talk, and I have to choose myself. I have to choose to fill myself up so that I can be able to overflow. You cannot serve from a half cup or a full cup. The full cup is yours, but it has to overflow so that you can give to others. So I've learned to choose me. I've learned to learn from my mistakes. Learn that it has to start with me first. I have to take care of myself first to be able to take care of another person. Then my number 4 point of importance of owning up is that we learn to we get respected. You get respect from people. Because you're becoming a better person. So I know the kind of relationships I used to have before, I don't have them anymore. Now someone would call me for coffee because they want to learn something from me, because I have something to offer. Before, someone would call me for coffee, and most of the time for a drink, an alcoholic drink, and maybe we are going to talk about other things that were not even helping me to grow. So right now I can say without a doubt that I am more respectable. I even respect myself more. My children respect me. My family respects me, and the whole world. I'm attracting the whole world to me, because that is what service does. That is what living your purpose does. That is what learning more about why God created you. That is what it does. And being able to live your life, being able to live your life as a servant of people. We are here for a purpose. God created you to know Him, to learn Him. I never forget to mention God every time I'm speaking, because I know that is my pillar. That is why I'm where I am. So God created you to know Him. God created you to love Him and to serve Him. So you first need to know Him. You first need to understand who really He is, and where you fall in the creation and all that. So you need to understand that God created you for a reason, and when you get to know that, then you of course fall in love with Him, and then you look for what you are created for, why you're here, what is your part of service. Everyone can change the world. So what is your percentage? What part are you playing in changing the world? Number 5 point is that we build better relationships. Everyone wants to have good friends. We are all created as social beings. So it is up to you to determine the kind of relationships that you want to have. And relationships I'm not talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about relationships at work, relationships with your family, relationships even out there. Even as you're driving, are you getting agitated by the traffic, or someone who has just cut the line in front of you, or whatever? Those are all relationships, because we cannot live alone. We have to rely on other people. We depend on each other for you know, to become better people or forever, for survival. So yeah, just building relationships, you become a better person. You don't come home, or you don't go home feeling like you know, you're so much withdrawn because of what has happened to you, but you get to even have a relationship with yourself that makes you even a better person to relate with others. So when you talk about relationships start from self. Myself, my relationship with myself, my relationship with my God, my relationship with my family, my relationship with even those who don't know me but they follow me. So your relationships obviously will become stronger, then they will become better. So I want to encourage you, be encouraged to own your mistakes, because for sure you're going to grow from your mistakes. You're going to see the world in a different angle, from a different angle. When I decided to own up my mistakes, it drove me to even wanting to forgive the other person, because I realized that if I do not forgive, it still stays in my heart and I don't want to stay in pain. So I had to forgive, I had to let go, I had to just even learn the art of forgiveness, because it's not easy. And mostly when someone has really put you through a lot of pain, a lot of traumatizing things, people go through a lot of things, but you must be able to learn to own up your own contribution to that, and also be able to own up the responsibility of forgiveness and the responsibility of having a better life for yourself. You deserve peace, you deserve happiness, you deserve all goodness that the world can offer, and it is all your responsibility. So own up. Thank you, and see you again. And don't forget to subscribe. Click on the button below and subscribe on my YouTube channel. And see you again next time. Bye bye.